Hello, and welcome to another episode from the desk of a Navy wife, where you may or may not hear my kiddos in the background. My name is Reyna, and on this podcast, we like to dive deep into the unique challenges, triumphs, and experiences that come with being a military spouse. So kick back, relax, make that cup of coffee, or get that evening dinner ready, and just listen to me in the background. Welcome to today's episode, Connections in Camouflage, and we are going to be exploring the lifeline that community and networks can be during your transition, during your deployments, and any unique challenges that you may face with your family. It allows us to show our greatest strengths and be able to immerse ourselves into the communities that we honestly build. I'll discuss how this support network is going to become a lifeline during those transitions, not only showing you that there is camaraderie, but a sense of belonging. Before I get into all of that, I want to share a bit about my personal journey, moving from base to base, overseas, and back. I've experienced firsthand the power of community. So whether it was an enlisted spouse club, meeting other military spouses, joining school groups, or researching my own resources offered by the MWR and Family Readiness Center, I knew that these connections were crucial and I needed way more support than I could have imagined. And many of the relationships I have created, I am grateful to say I've been able to carry with me to other installations. Not only speaking to other military spouses, but I've been able to develop, foster, and build those relationships with veterans as well as organizational leaders. I'm happy I have maintained those positive relationships, and I encourage you to do the same. Now, having a network and community is going to be your lifeline, especially during deployments. Those are going to be, I feel, when you face the most challenges. Anything that could go wrong could potentially happen when your significant other is not there with you. And sometimes you have to sit and you have to laugh at it, and you have to just pick your battles and maybe address those that are urgent matters and handle the rest later. So it's going to help you with knowing what assistance is there for you, practical assistance, and honestly showing that you can rely on the military community around you as they are there to support and they can understand where you're coming from. So let's talk about the unique dynamic of different type of clubs that may exist or organizations that may exist in your local area. Now, I personally was able to be a part of the Enlisted Spouse Club, and that is because we had one that was active overseas. Not every installation, not every command is going to have one, but that doesn't mean you can't create one. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information when it comes to what to expect in a spousal club that is located on your installation. Now, these clubs don't only provide a space for you to socialize or get together with your kiddo so they can have a play date, but they also are there to foster mentorship. They create a sense of solidarity with the other spouses, regardless of rank. And I know I personally had an amazing experience when my family and I were located overseas. My husband's sponsor is the person that introduced me to their spouse, and then they introduced me to the Enlisted Spouse Club. And I was able to learn more about how they can support you. And I was able to not only benefit from that, but I turned around and became a vice president of the club so that I could be of support to other spouses. So I know during my time being in a completely different country, it was nice to just speak to other people that spoke English and see that there were other people that were just as eager to not only get to know the culture, but to also want to help other spouses. I was pregnant at that time, so having that support network and that support group was essential to me, and it helped me with not feeling alone because I knew in advance my husband was going to be married to the boat, as some of us spouses like to say. So through the years, being able to experience firsthand those great resources and support that was offered to me, I loved that I was able to return the feeling. And so as a vice president, I was able to host play dates, creating flyers, and then also getting together with all the spouses on the installation and going to the park, but also created social events that were catered around us spouses. Some type of wine and dine night, or some type of night where we're just painting or chatting, catching up, really being able to connect with each other and feel like adults for a day, especially if we have little ones that are around us. Another great part of being in a spouse club or an enlisted spouse club is if you are pregnant, you'll be able to hear either other resources or you'll have someone that's going to be there in the forefront to help you along that journey. And they also can offer things such as a meal train, which is basically where other military spouses get together, fill out a form, and they say, okay, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week, I'm going to provide this meal to her and her family. So that's one less thing she has to worry about. That's one less thing she has to think about. Another one is where maybe they're creating some type of support train, and that could be maybe they're coming to pick you up and take you to your doctor's appointments. Maybe they're coming over to clean your house, so that's one less thing you have to do, or do your laundry. There are different things that these spouse clubs can do for you, and it's all a matter of what the spouses want on that installation, how they want their environment to be, and how they want to be able to support other spouses. All right, another way of connections in camouflage, so another organization that you could take advantage of, is really located at the Family Readiness Center. This is often our unsung heroes that work there. They offer a plethora of resources for the military families. And in those centers, it's really a hub of information. I know overseas provide either job opportunities. You could talk to a work and family life specialist. There was a financial advisor that was located there. There was an individual that helped you with federal resumes. They did military spouse workshop at that installation. And then they have the new parent support and domestic violence type of organizations, all within the Family Readiness Center. So when it comes to the Readiness Center, the first time I personally took advantage of it was when I myself was seeking for employment opportunities. I discovered that there was that work and family life specialist that would give me feedback on my resume, and then they provided wonderful insight into how to look up job postings, how to highlight keywords for my resume, and be able to take all the information from my job description into my resume. Who knew that a year after that introduction, I would then be teaching those very same techniques in workshops around the country to other military service members that were getting out of the military, as well as their spouses that were just having a transition or career transition of their own. So did you know also that when you first move to an installation, the Family Readiness Center, FRC, can offer you temporary household furniture? If you knew, that's great. I did not. I had no idea that they could offer you household furniture and appliances while you waited for your HHG, which is your household goods. Being able to take advantage of that was very nice, because we didn't have beds. And again, being pregnant, I know I didn't want to sleep on the floor. So trying to figure out, well, where are we going to sleep? What are we going to do? They came in with that temporary furniture. They gave us our microwaves, our dishes, anything that we needed while we waited for our home to come into this empty building that we were in. So I will be sure to speak on more of that in another episode, but I wanted to mention this as another connection that you can make. Now, the next topic I want to speak on within this segment is overcoming loneliness through connection. Loneliness itself can be a formidable challenge, especially when your spouse is on deployment. In this military community, there are support groups, there are events that you can attend, whether they're hosted by MWR or they're out in town. They're going to become a source of comfort for you. They're going to break the chains of isolation. So I do encourage you to get out of your house, and that's another part of self-care. Get out of your house, go explore, go meet new people, go to a random art festival, or drive 30 minutes and see what store it takes you to and go explore. Anything to really get you out the house, okay? After you're out of the house and you're able to, meet people and build some type of friendship relationship, it's going to help you down the line. If you're somebody that's an introvert, let me know. I can help you with getting out the house and talking to other people. I know when I was first married to my husband, I didn't really want to get to know other people. I didn't want to get to know other spouses. I felt like I've met everybody I needed to meet in high school and in college, and I had all the friends that I wanted to have. And when we moved overseas, to say stressed and alone is an understatement. I needed to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And thankfully, I was able to rely on those connections that I've built within 6 months. And they were there for me, again, through those spouse clubs that I mentioned earlier. They were my neighbors. They were in my building. And then later in the organization that I worked for. So comfort will come with those tea talks, with those wine nights, when you're invited to a game night or outing. So I encourage you to at least attend once a month or attend someone's invitation, because it's going to help you feel balanced and it's going to help you feel like an adult that day while you're out and about. So be open to making your own thrift swap nights or your own paint nights or whatever it is that you like to do. In the beginning, it could be awkward, but the awkwardness of not knowing people will soon turn into laughter, lifetime memories, and friends. With that, I invite you all to share your questions or any insights you may have about building your own connection within the military community. Feel free to provide ideas and support along with me. You can email me at Reyna@deskofaNavyWife.com. So as I conclude or end today's episode of Connections in Camouflage, I want to emphasize the strength found in community, building networks with enlisted and officer spouse clubs, MWR, Family Readiness Center, isn't just about finding friends. It's about creating a lifeline that sustains us through the highs and lows of military life. If you found this episode insightful, please don't forget to follow and share it with your fellow military spouses. Until next time, remember that in this sea of green and khaki, your connections are the anchors that keep you steady. Sending my love from the desk of a Navy wife.